Party Arcade! I go out of my way to find lesser known games that I might find interesting. And when Gamefly offered this to me to buy for $17.99, I wasn't intrigued by the price, but more of how did I not know this existed? Once a month, I look at all the games coming to the Switch. Like for months now, I've been on the lookout for Ultra Mega Extra Party Challenge, and my Christmas game review, which is most likely going to come in November, Advent Calendar. I mean, you guys didn't know those games existed, I really doubt. In fact, Ultra Mega Extra Party Challenge will be my next review, actually. It's an even worse version of Wiiviewer games. And when I say worse, I just mean it's not as good as. Now, this title actually came out in December of 2018, and it's even more frustrating that I missed it for almost 4 years now. And playing it, I can tell you, it sucks. It makes so many wrong decisions, but the thing is I can see some good ideas, which are just executed poorly. Now, there are 13 games to play, but there are some conditions which make some of those games unplayable for a single-player gameplay. The games are air hockey, billiards, bocce ball, cup pong, hoop shot, ping pong, slots, stoplight, disco, cornhole, darts, skill ball, and puck bowling. Now, here's the rub. 3 of these games are locked behind bullshit token systems. These tokens are not easy to get, since you're going to have to do good in some of the worst controlled games. And then there are also 2 games which are just unplayable if you're playing this single player. As if you want to play them single player, you have to play them online. And this should not surprise anyone, but no one has been playing this 4-year-old game. So I couldn't test ping pong or air hockey. I know I usually break it down from best to worst, but with the exception of pool, I didn't like any of them. And even pool was terribly controlled. But I worked around it. And it was the easiest game to consistently get tickets and tokens. Everything moved too quickly. You will never know how to do precision hits because it will always move past the point where you want to hit every time. You'll be constantly fighting with the cursor because there's no way to dial in the precision, but you will be able to get shots in line, just not as perfect as you might want. Now, all these games can technically be played with normal controls, but they also give you the option to use motion controls. And I gave up trying to do it with button controls fairly quickly, as it was so frustrating. I think the game's creators expect a lot more precision accuracy than the controls allow, because the one game of Cup Pong will go on forever. I never finished a match of Cup Pong, as it was impossible to get all the balls in the cups. And for some crazy reason, they give you unlimited balls. Every other game limits you on the things you could do except that one. The one game where it would be a wonderful mercy to end that game early. They do everything they can to make it as annoyingly hard on the player as possible. The worst thing they do is they reset your position every time you do an action. This was extremely annoying in darts, as I had to constantly move to the position I wanted. Now, the games where you have to use your tokens are some of the most boring games. It has pachinko games, slots, and a press the button when the light comes around game. If they were free to play, it would be better. But every time I played these games, it felt like a waste of tokens. Some of them took more than 1 token to play, which was insane. Now, researching this, I found they actually re-released this game back in January, and I still didn't know it existed. Now, if you spend another $5, you'll get $12,000 in game currency. And everything clicked into place. They have unreasonable token earned, so you'll buy some. I tried to go to the eShop from the game and I got a broken link, and I don't know why. Maybe they just don't support this version anymore. But I updated it to the latest one. But I also wonder what they meant by in-game currency. Do they mean tickets or do they mean tokens? You can use tickets to buy different looking skins for the objects in the game. So is it 12,000 in tickets? Which would be 5,500 more than you start with, as you start with 6,500. Or tokens, which you start with 0. However, 12,000 tokens feels like overkill when the games cost 1 to 3 tokens. It's a mystery maybe someone who bought the new version can answer. But honestly, I would love it if nobody answered this, since it would mean no one actually bought it. There's a tournament mode, which is dead. On my version, again, this is confusing. Is this a dead game or a dead version? From what I played, I'm gonna guess it's a dead game, as I can't imagine a lot of people bought this. The most positive thing I'm going to say about the game is that I really liked the hub they had. You could walk around in the games and it felt like a real arcade that you were in. Of course, the slot machines were out of place in the middle. What is this, a casino or is it an arcade? And it looks like they only hired twins because the lack of character models was very apparent. Party Arcade sucks! Graphically, it was fine, I guess. You don't need high fidelity textures when you're dealing with these types of games. But it controlled terribly. The games ranged from okay to frustrating. I could see what they were trying to do, but the control issues took away any fun I could have had with this. Now, obviously, I think you should skip this. It has nothing to do with me not enjoying these types of games, as I'm a huge defender of the Game Party series, or even the Carnival game series, with the exception of that terrible Switch version. But when it comes to this game, there's not really much you're going to enjoy in this, so you should just skip it.